And we are rolling. What is going on, everyone? I hope that you all are doing well out there, staying safe, and having a good one. Welcome to Clarence Loves Comics. I'm your host, Clarence, and I love comics. I know I've been gone for a while. I know the last time I uploaded was like 3-4 months ago. I've been extremely busy over the summertime dealing with personal things, life or what have you. I was transferring from one school to another, and that was quite an adjustment. And we're now in the new semester, and so getting in the hang of things, trying to get in the swing of things. If anybody's transferred from one school to another or went from one job to another, that grace period or that adjustment period can be something. But starting to get a hang of it or what have you, starting to settle in. And that's just where I've been at. That's what's been going on. And I'll try to get out more videos, try to find some time that we're in the semester. I'll try to find some time to upload whenever possible. But speaking of that, today's video is going to be about DC Comics because while I was away, they made an announcement about it was in the catalog, new books released from DC, and I'm talking about collected editions. So I'm talking absolutes, trade paperbacks, hardcovers, omnibuses, all that good stuff. And because of that, I was excited for that. I decided to come up with a list of 15 of my most anticipated DC collected editions or DC graphic novels. Now, a couple things to get out the way before we jump into it. Number one, I will mention dates, but dates are very subject to change. Sometimes books get pushed forward. Sometimes they get pushed back. That's just the nature of the business. It happens all the time, but do keep that in mind when I mention dates. Number two, this is a 1 through 15 list. This isn't in any particular order. This isn't a countdown to count up. This is just my, 15 books I'm looking forward to. And then last but not least, this is my personal list. So this is all my opinion. So if there's a book or books that you're looking forward to that doesn't make my list, by all means leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you all have to say. So with that out the way, let's go ahead and jump into it. The first book that I'm looking forward to is the Milestone Compendium Volume 4. This has a release date or scheduled release date of February the 4th, 2025. It has a page count of 1,344 and it has a cover price of $59.99. And the cover price is all US dollars, by the way, because I live in the United States. So it may be different if you live internationally. So keep that in mind as well. This is one that I'm looking forward to. I think I do have the Milestone Compendium Volume 1, and I have to pick up Volumes 2 and 3, and I do look forward to picking up Volume 4, and I think we'll need maybe one more to wrap up this entire era, because this is the old school Milestone, so from back in the 90s. So you have working here by Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowan, so forth and so on. And so it's good that DC is collecting these editions, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. And it comes out in February, which is great timing. Another book that comes out in February, book number 2, is the Far Sector, the Deluxe Edition. This is by N.K. Jamisin and Jamal Campbell, and this has a release date of February the 11th, 2025. This has a cover price, this has a page count of 320 and a cover price of $49.99, $50. And so I remember this book came out, I believe in like 2018, 2019. I saw the artwork and I was like, man, I gotta get this book, but I never picked it up. I never got an opportunity to pick it up in trades. But now they're releasing it in a deluxe edition, and I'm excited for that. The artwork looks amazing. I like Jamal Campbell's artwork. I like the work he did on Naomi back in the day with Brian Michael Bendis. And so, and the premise of it with this new Green Lantern by the name of Sojourner Mullen or Joe Mulliner has me intrigued as well. And I'm just really looking forward to it. Even though I missed out on the trades, kind of glad I did, because now I can pick up the deluxe edition, and so definitely looking forward to that. Next book is another deluxe edition. This is book number 3. This is Dark Dark Knights of Steel, the deluxe edition. This is by Tom Taylor and Yasmin Puri. This has a release date of April 22nd, 2025, and it has a cover. It has a cover price of $49.99 and a page count of 392 pages. So this is another book that I've heard a lot of great things about. This is by Tom Taylor, which I like Tom Taylor's work. I like what he did on Injustice, and so this seemed right up my alley. And this is, I believe, an Elseworlds type of story. The premise of it, or the pitch to it, is that it's DC meets Game of Thrones, and as somebody who enjoys, DC Comics and Game of Thrones, sign me up for that. And so I'm definitely looking forward to it. This collects the entire series, which is 12 issues, and the artwork looks phenomenal. And so I'm happy that I waited to get the deluxe edition, because this was in trades and hardcovers, standard size, but this is an oversized one, or will be. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Book number 4, and this is one that's interesting because this one, the volume 1 hasn't released yet. It's scheduled to come out this year, and then volume 2 is coming out next year. But this is Scalped Omnibus Volume 2. This is by Jason Aaron and R.M. Guerrera. This has a scheduled release date of February the 4th. This has a page count of 768 pages and a cover price of $100. And so, like I mentioned earlier, Volume 1 is supposed to come out later this year, I believe in like October, November, somewhere in there. Maybe December. But it's not out yet, at least at the recording of this video, it's not out yet. And then Volume 2 comes out in February of next year. That's pretty rare for DC to do that, because normally they don't announce a Volume 2 unless they release the Volume 1. But again, it looks like they got new management or a new team over at the collected editions department there. And so maybe they're getting ahead or trying to plan ahead, because that's stuff that Marvel usually has done in the past, where they sometimes do that, where they'll announce a Volume 2 and Volume 1's not out yet. Who knows? But Jason Aaron, I like Jason Aaron. I like his work on Star Wars, and so because of that, that gives me optimism on this story right here. And plus, I hear a lot of great things about it. I know this was released under Vertigo, which is now Black Label, and I hear this is one of the more underrated Vertigo titles. And so I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. Plus, the artwork intrigues me as well. Book number 5 is one that comes by surprise, and that is Batman by James Tynion IV, Omnibus. This is Volume 1. This has a scheduled release date of March the 4th, 2025. This has a page count of 1,088 pages and a cover price of $125. This one, I say this surprised me because I know for the longest time a lot of people want Batman by Tom King, the Rebirth era. This comes after that, and I am shocked that DC hasn't released a Batman by Tom King omnibus yet, or announced one of this video. I'm sure it will come, but still kind of surprising that they did this one before King, means that that's the one a lot of people really been clamoring for. But I hear good things about this run as well. And this comes after King's run, and I'm a Batman fan. Batman's one of my favorites, so I'm always trying to get some more Batman material in the collection. For the most part, there are, I guess, some exceptions to that, but if it's Batman, for the most part, I'm willing to give it a chance. Like I said, this is a run that people speak highly of, and so I am looking forward to picking this one up. Number 6 on the list. This is one that I'm very happy is coming out, especially in omnibus format. But this is Superman by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Omnibus Volume 1. This has a scheduled release date of July 1st, 2025. Excellent timing there. A page count of 896 pages and a cover price of $125. Now, this is one of those books that recently released as a compendium, I believe like a year or so ago. It was Superman, the War Saga, and it was in a thick compendium, which is a huge, thick trade paperback. and there was a lot of mixed reception of that. Some people were happy with it, some people weren't, but you know, a lot of people did end up picking it up just because they really liked the story, or some people like compendiums, and so, you know, they decided to go ahead and pick that up. But I'm happy that I waited because I wanted it in omnibus format. I like Superman. Superman's another one of my favorites, and I hear great things about this story. And this is a modern Superman omnibus, which is something that is always good because despite being very popular, not only one of the most popular characters in DC, but just one of the most popular characters in general, Superman doesn't have a whole lot of omnibuses, particularly in the modern era. You do have a lot of the Golden Age and Silver Age material, but when it comes to the more modern stuff, there isn't really a whole lot there. But they are starting to do more. I know that they're coming out with the Triangle Years omnibus. The first volume of that is coming out, or that might have released already. Not 100% sure, but I know that's on the way. And you know, of course, you already have the stuff by Grant Morrison, the New 52 era, and then the Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason era, the Rebirth era, and then you have the Exiles and Death of Return and all that good stuff. But you know, it's good that we're getting more Superman omnibuses, especially in the modern era, and this is why I hear great things about. So I'm definitely going to be picking this up. Number 7, book number 7, is one that also caught me by surprise, but I'm excited for this one, and I'm happy that it's coming, and that is Injustice 2. This is by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. This has a scheduled release date of May 20th, 2025. This has a page count of 920 pages and a cover price of $125. So, as somebody who really enjoys the first Injustice comic, who enjoys the Injustice games as well, because I also enjoy Injustice 2, this is one that I'm surprised that it took DC this long to get to make it, but it's finally here, and I'm happy about that. I read Injustice, the first one, and I read some of Injustice 2, and the general consensus is that while Injustice 2 isn't as good as the first one, it's still a pretty enjoyable read. As somebody who read the first, I would say maybe 6-7 issues, I would say between the first 6 to 10 issues of this series, I agree with that sentiment. Again, it's not as good as Injustice, the first one, in my humble opinion, but still a really enjoyable read. And I'm glad that they're collecting this, so now I can go and read the book in its entirety, because I only read like the first 6 to 10 issues, and so like I said, I enjoyed it, and I'm happy that we're finally getting this in omnibus format. So now I don't have to hunt down any trades or hardcovers, and the artwork is really good, and I like Tom Taylor. I like what he did in Injustice 1, and I like some of what he did in Injustice 2. Number 8, book number 8 is one that caught me by surprise, but I'm definitely happy because this is a character I love as well, and I love to see her name and see her get more omnibuses. And this is Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka, Omnibus Volume 1. This has a scheduled release date of May 27th, 2025. This has a page count of 1,000 pages, and then this has a cover price of $125. So, Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, one of my favorite characters in comics, in media. I love her in the comics. I love her in media adaptations, whether that's, you know, the animated cartoons, whether that's the live action television shows. Anytime I see Wonder Woman on my screen, it just puts a huge smile on my face. I don't know what to tell you. I really like this character, and I've been a fan of this character for a very long time now, and so to see her get more omnibuses is always a treat, is always a delight. And Greg Rucka is one that a lot of people have been asking for, and this is one I've been asking for myself. I hear a lot of great things about this run, and so I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to have another Wonder Woman book in my collection. Book number 9. And this one actually changed a little bit, but this is Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tynion the fourth omnibus. This is volume 1. This has a scheduled release date for April the 8th, 2025. This has a page count of 744 pages and a cover price of $125. So this one was originally, when it was originally scheduled, was just Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tynion the fourth omnibus. There was no volume 1. Now I see that it was resolicited as a volume 1, and the page count is 744 pages. They have a cover price of $150. Excuse me, my apologies. So I'm looking here. The page count is actually $150. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. Again, they recently changed that. I'm not sure if they're going to be really charging $150 for over 700 pages. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because DC has done this before, so that could be right. But as of now, again, they resolicit as a volume 1. The page count is much shorter because it was originally over 1,000 pages. Now it's at 744, and the cover price went up to $150. Not sure if that's staying that way, if that's an error, or what the case is, but that's the information that we have now. I'm always willing to give Justice League a chance. I like Justice League. They're one of my favorite groups in comics, so anytime I get a Justice League book in the collection, I'm willing to give it a chance. Plus, I hear some good things about this run as well. This is, of course, like I said, written by the duo of Scott Snyder and James Tynion the fourth. Scott Snyder, somebody that I've read in the past. I read his book called Witches, which was like a 6-issue miniseries that he did back in Image Comics, or that he did when he was at Image Comics. And then he also got a series called American Vampire, which I have the 2 omnibuses right behind me. I read the first half of it a few years ago, and I really enjoyed what I read of that. And so I do plan on rereading that. Justice League a chance, and I hear solid things about this run, so I'm definitely going to be picking this up. Right here, quick time out and say that if you are enjoying this video, please do me a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot and lets me know that you all are enjoying the channel or enjoying the videos and enjoying the content. It really does help out the channel. And speaking of the content, if you like what you see on my channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and click the bell notification, so that way you'll always be notified when I upload a video. I'll try to post a bit more consistently. Like I said, try to find some time in between classes. This is book number 10. This is one I hear a lot of great things about, and I'm excited for. This is Red Lanterns, the New 52 omnibus. This has a scheduled release date for June the 10th, 2025. This has a cover price of $1,088, and it has a cover price of $125. So I hear a lot of great things about this series. Of all the New 52 titles that have came out, I hear a lot of great things about this one in particular. This is the one that a lot of people rave about. This also too ties into some of the stuff that was this ties into the stuff that was going on with Jeff Johns when he was writing Green Lantern, when he introduced the emotional spectrum. And so you had a number of different Lantern Corps, like green, red, blue, yellow, white, black, white, all that good stuff. And I hear a lot of great things about this series. Peter Milligan and Charles Soule wrote this series. The consensus is that the first half that Peter Milligan does is really good, and then when Charles Soule takes over, that's when it really hits its stride and it really takes off. And so this is something I'm looking forward to. Anything that has to do with the Green Lanterns, I'm always, willing to give a shot at, and I hear that it's amazing, and I hear it's phenomenal, so I'm willing to give it a chance and opportunity. And book number 11, moving on to the 11th book on the list, and this ties in with Red Lanterns, but this is Supergirl the New 52 Omnibus. This has a scheduled release date of July 11th. This has a page count of 1,032 pages and a cover price of $125. So this ties in with the Red Lanterns, because during this time, the New 52, Supergirl ends up becoming a Red Lantern because there's some things that happen to her where she has a lot of anger and rage within her, and she becomes a Red Lantern. And so there is some crossover between this book and that book, although I don't think you have to pick up Red Lanterns to understand what's going on with Supergirl and vice versa, but there is some crossover there. But this book surprised me because of all the Supergirl titles that people clamor for and people want. The one that everybody asks for is, or the one that most people, I should say, the one that most people ask for is the Supergirl by Peter David Omnibus. And so I'm surprised that they went with the New 52, but I'm also glad that they went with New 52 just because it shows that DC is committed to still finishing out the New 52 era and that there's more material to be collected from that. I know that that era of DC Comics is somewhat polarizing, not somewhat, is very polarizing amongst the community. Some people really enjoy that era, some people really hate that era. I'm somebody that's like, there's a lot of stuff in the New 52 that I enjoy, so I'm more positive towards it because of the stuff that I read. Most of the stuff that I read, there's a couple things where I'm like, well, I think I enjoyed it. Yeah, this ain't the best, but for the most part, the stuff from New 52 I've enjoyed the most because there was a lot of good stuff during that era, and I hear that Supergirl is one of those titles that is actually pretty good. Number 12 on the list. This is one that I'm really excited for, that everybody raves about non-stop, and I always wanted to read. And this is Suicide Squad by John Ostrander, Omnibus Volume 1. This has a release date of May 20th, 2025. This has a page count of 1,008 pages and a cover price of $125. When it comes to most wanted omnibuses, DC, Marvel, this is always on the top of a lot of people's list. Everybody raves about Suicide Squad by Ostrander. Everybody says when it comes to Suicide Squad comics, this is the best era of that, of the Suicide Squad, and it's been, nothing really matches up to this. I am surprised. I'm happy that they're coming out with this. I am surprised that they are now coming out with this, especially given the fact that DC has released not one but two Suicide Squad movies. You have the one in 2016, and then you have the one in 2021, the Suicide Squad, which is by James Gunn. And I'm surprised they didn't release it during that time because James Gunn took a lot of inspiration from the movie. Took a lot of inspiration from the John Ostrander run for the movie. And so I'm surprised. And also, too, Ostrander made a cameo in that. He was one of the scientists that was planting the bombs in the inmates. So I'm surprised that they didn't come out with this back then. But I'm glad that they're coming out with it now. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. Number 13, book number 13, and this is another Suicide Squad book, but this is Suicide Squad, the New 52 Omnibus. This has a scheduled release date of April 29th. This has a page count of 816 pages and a cover price of $100. Again, this is another one I'm happy that they're releasing. I'm surprised they're releasing just because of the fact for the longest time it seemed like DC was going to be, a lot of these New 52 era books were kind of getting shelved because they were releasing them like crazy at one point, and then all of a sudden they had stopped for like 2-3 years, and so now they're starting up again, so that's really good. I actually read a little bit of this era back in the day. I read the first trade paperback. I had purchased it from, I think I purchased it from 5 FYE, which is a music store, which ended up turning to like almost like a pop culture type of store. This is the one I used to go to, sold comics as well, and I purchased the first volume of that from there, and I enjoyed it. I ended up liking it. I ended up digging it. This is also too around the same time, I believe, when Harley Quinn joined the Suicide Squad. And as somebody who enjoys Harley Quinn, who likes her, you know, I had no issue with that. Some people did. I personally didn't. But, you know, to each his own. As somebody who likes Harley Quinn, I don't mind. You know, anytime I see her, I'm always happy. This is a book that I'm definitely looking forward to, because I want to finish reading it and, you know, read the run in its whole entirety. And so I'm excited for that. Number 14. These last two books is by a character I've always enjoyed, and they're releasing the Rebirth, and they're releasing the most recent run. Number 14 is Nightwing Rebirth Omnibus. This has a date of April the 22nd, 2025. This has a page count of 1,040 pages and a cover price of $125. So during the New 52 era of Nightwing, from my understanding, they took Nightwing out of Bloodhaven. They gave him a new suit, which is red and black, which is a departure from his traditional blue and black. And a lot of people was not feeling that run. A lot of people did not enjoy that era. It's funny because Kyle Higgins wrote that era, and that's the gentleman who would go on to write the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Radiant Black. And those runs see critical acclaim, but it's Nightwing not so much. But I do hear that this run, so this takes place after the New 52. This is the Rebirth era, which comes after that. And I hear that this run is actually solid. This is actually a decent run. Some of the things that they did with Nightwing in the New 52, and people that didn't enjoy that, they undo a lot of that stuff. So they put him back in Bloodhaven. They give him back his traditional blue and black suit and all that good stuff. And I hear that this is solid. This collects, you know, issues 1 through 43. This goes all the way up, the issue 43. Then you get a special. And so this is one that I'm looking forward to, because, you know, I enjoy a lot of Bat Family, Nightwing especially. So I'm definitely looking forward to picking this up. Although I do hear that there's some after this era is called the Rick Grayson era, and I hear that's not good. I don't know if DC is gonna ever collect that material or not, but I hear that era, that after this era, Rebirth, which is written by Tim Seeley. After Tim Seeley leaves, that Nightwing comics fall off for a long time, but eventually it does pick up again, and this is where the last book come in at, because this is the 15th and final book, and this is Nightwing by Tom Taylor Omnibus. Release date July 22nd. This has a page count of 752 pages and a cover price of $100. I'm not 100% sure if this is the full thing or if there's going to be a volume 1 or not, because I hear that his run actually hasn't fully completed yet at the recording of this video. So we'll see. Maybe this will be a volume 1, or this might just be, or they might just add whatever issues he didn't, whatever issues he finished, they might just end up adding it to this book, and it's just all in one nice thick omnibus. I'm not 100% sure on that, because this stuff is still being kind of sorted out, but we do know it's coming out. And so this is the era where Nightwing, for a lot of people, is back, essentially. You know how they say X, Y, and Z is back, baby, that type of thing. And this is where Nightwing is back in a lot of people's eyes. This is where people start enjoying Nightwing comics again, and I hear a lot of great things about this series. A lot of people really enjoy this run. People hold it in high regard. When it comes to Nightwing, the two runs people always talk about is Chuck Dixon's Nightwing, and now Tom Taylor's Nightwing. And so those are the two that I hear a lot of great things about. Although the Chuck Dixon era is in compendiums, they might release that in omnibus. Not 100% sure, but I hear great things about this Tom Taylor one, so I definitely will be picking this up. And like I said, I like Tom Taylor, so I'm always willing to give his books and his stuff a chance. So that is the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said earlier, if there's any books on your list that wasn't featured today that you're looking forward to, by all means leave it in the comment section below. I love to hear what you all have to say. But with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And until next time, take care, everybody. Be safe and have a good one.